Hey everybody. Today we're talking about a monumental change in the world of video games. Now let's get into it. We used to play video games to escape reality. Now it often feels like we're being pulled back into an anxious cycle of playing just to keep up. This isn't about nostalgia. It's about a fundamental shift in how games are made, who they serve, and why we should all demand better. In the 90s and early 2000s, video games were driven by innovation and narrative necessity. Budgets were smaller, technology was less standardized, and to stand out, you had to be a visionary. The only way to drive people to your game was to make it an experience unlike any other. You had to hook a player on creativity, not constant compulsion. The developers of this era weren't chasing daily logins, they were crafting worlds. They were pushing the boundaries of what a story could be in a 3D space. Let me share some of the experiences that cemented this idea for me and for so many others. A buddy of mine, Lance, told me that the first time he realized that games could tell an epic story was Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. He was 10 and this was his first experience in a deep narrative video game. Before this, games felt like levels. However, Zelda felt like a journey. The genius wasn't just the time travel or the massive world, it was the way it was perfectly integrated character development to solve complex puzzles and the linear acquisition of new tools that constantly pushed you to think and evolve. It was a complete, compelling story that he's since completed more times than he can count. To this day, it represents a masterclass in game design, leaving a mark so profound that he has a tattoo themed around it today. My first experience with video games was Halo 3. The first two games had built the world, but Halo 3 brought every storyline together in a perfect crescendo. I spent countless hours with my brothers completing the game in every fashion. We collected every skull and beat par on every difficulty. Then, the Forge kept us occupied indefinitely. Countless experiences we could create and compete in. To this day, I still go back and play. The experience was flawless. It wasn't just a fun gameplay. I was so deeply invested in characters and the story that it truly felt like, at some times, I was watching a cinematic masterpiece that I got to be a part of. Another friend, Josh, tells me about his story with Apex Legends. He told me that it felt like something fresh. The devs were constantly innovating with new mechanics, on top of the unique movement, the art style, gameplay, and the lore kept the entire community passionate and begging for more. A common thread runs through all these classics. Developers used creativity in the movement, the story structure, the thematic depth to create experiences that were complete as they were respectful of our time and fundamentally fun. The true magic of older games wasn't just the story. It was how they respected your time, and they made every session feel rewarding and complete. Games like Black Ops 2 had objectives that were streamlined and finite. You paid for your game, and you got a complete adventure. The original Overwatch and Apex Legends encouraged you to play by unlocking new characters with different gameplay mechanics. You found Easter eggs, and there were some hilarious online moments. You didn't have to spend an incredible amount of time to unlock the new character. You could do it in one good session. Now, the focus is on playtime versus quality. Modern games are structured to keep you playing indefinitely. They bombard you with constant missions, daily quests, weekly challenges, and seasonal objectives. The design is psychological. You're not playing because you want to. You're playing because the game is making you feel like you're falling behind everyone else. The fundamental fear of missing out. Every few weeks, a major update lands, the meta changes, weapons are nerfed and maps are tweaked. This requires a significant amount of time just to relearn how the game plays, creating a cycle of forced engagement just to maintain a baseline of competency. You're not mastering the game, you're mastering the patch notes. Let's look at a prime example of real engagement. Halo 3's Forge mode was revolutionary in an era of $60 complete games. It wasn't a microtransaction, it was a free tool built into the game. It was a digital garage where you and your friends could literally build worlds together and then compete in them. The creativity was handed directly to the player. The game's longevity wasn't tied to a developer's mandatory content cycle. It was tied to the infinite creativity of its community. It created legendary custom game modes that kept the game fresh for years, all without a single battle pass or rotating item shop. That, my friends, is the definition of quality driving replayability, not compulsive monetization. So, how did we get from Halo 3 to the endless grind? The major turning point occurred in the mid 2010s, and its industry defining architect was Fortnite with their Battle Royale. While PUBG or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds pioneered the Battle Royale, it was Fortnite that perfected the business model that would infect the entire industry. Fortnite took the free to play model and married it to two powerful psychological triggers. First, the Battle Pass and seasonal modal. This genius invention turned gaming into a subscription service without a monthly fee. You pay a small upfront cost for the pass, and then the game's daily and weekly challenges kick in. The underlying message, though, is that you bought the Battle Pass, so you need to complete all the challenges before their time runs out, or else you've wasted your money and you'll miss out on the exclusive rewards. This is FOMO running at full throttle. Second, cosmetic scarcity. Fortnite capitalized on the idea of cool in-game skins. These items offered almost zero in-game advantage, but they became a status symbol. By rotating the item shop and retiring skins after a short time, they created artificial scarcity. Players felt a profound need to spend money now or risk losing the chance forever. It's a retail model applied to digital goods. This concept wasn't contained to just Fortnite. It was a monetization engine so profitable that it quickly bled over into every AAA franchise. It transformed these once premium games into live service, or as Richtez on Reddit puts it, a game designed with the sole purpose of keeping people playing for as long as possible in the hopes that they will pay for microtransactions. Today, virtually every competitive game, Apex, Call of Duty, Battlefield 6, features a battle pass, a rotating cosmetic shop, and a suite of daily or weekly missions designed to maximize your playtime and likelihood of further purchase. This shift in business model has profoundly altered the creation of new games. Development no longer focuses on the pure creative vision, it focuses on replicating the most successful monetization structure. The modern AAA blueprint prioritizes the revenue generating elements over the traditional core experience. Campaigns are afterthoughts now. Look at Call of Duty. The campaign was once a standard bearer for cinematic storytelling. Now it often takes a back seat. It's short, heavily scripted, and exists largely to provide an on-ramp to the real focus, the multiplayer and the battle royale. A game like Apex Legends was masterful in its gunplay, but its long-term development is a textbook example of this shift. Their focus is no longer on implementing new game-changing mechanics or advancing the storyline. It's on creating new skins, running events, and advertising purchasable in-game content. The team is dedicated to designing new items for the shop rather than what most players really want. The irony is that while this monetization structure exists, the price of the base game is also increasing. Games that were once $60 for decades are now standardly moving to $70, and some even experimenting beyond that. When you factor in the game price, the battle pass, and the occasional skin you buy, a single AAA title can easily cost a committed player hundreds of dollars every year. We're paying more than ever for a product that is designed to be intentionally incomplete and psychologically manipulative. The creation of new games has become a copy-paste method to generate money, not a creative endeavor to tell a story. This shift from player-centered design to corporate greed is a business decision, and it can only be reversed by a collective consumer decision. They are chasing next quarter's profit report, and we have the power to change the numbers that they look at. We need to stop. The reason these companies implement microtransactions, loot boxes, and FOMO-driven battle passes is simple. They work. They generate an astronomical recurring revenue that satisfies its shareholders. If that revenue stream were to dry up, the business model collapses, and developers will be forced to return to what actually sells games: quality, creativity, and players' respect. Our only power is our wallet's vote. We must fundamentally change our spending habits in the gaming ecosystem. We need to stop purchasing in-game cosmetics, season passes, or participating in the daily and weekly quest cycle. If the profit margin on a $15 skin disappears, they'll stop making them and they'll focus on their development. The good news is the market is already showing signs of this appetite. Indie studios are proving that deep, creative, story-driven games can be blockbusters without relying on predatory mechanics. They're filling a void left by AAA studios that are too risk avoidant to focus on anything other than a proven monetization model. Peak, Repo, Among Us, and Hollow Knight exemplify this. This is our hobby. It's supposed to be fun, inspiring, a form of art. We deserve games that leave a permanent mark on our minds. Games like Zelda, Halo 3, Black Ops 2. Not ones that leave a gaping hole in our wallets while constantly making us feel like we're missing out. What was the last game you played that left a permanent mark on your mind? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, you may like Josh's video about why we don't enjoy competitive games anymore. Subscribe if you like our content and want to see what's next.